phone, back on the air with Brandon from California, and Brandon has recommended another article by Mark Carpenter. It's called I'm not sure, unconditional. Let's go. Sorry, was it unconditional hardening, Brandon? Unconditional reprobation. I'm going to type in unconditional reprobation outside the camp, and I'm googling that now, and I'm going, okay, unconditional reprobation, active hardening, and I'm going to read this. Romans 9:11, for the children not yet being born, not having done anything evil or good, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of the one calling. It was said, the greater shall serve the lesser, even as has been written, I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. And then I'm just going to jump down to the bottom of the article, and here's what some verses. I am Jehovah, and there is none else. There is no God besides me. I will clothe you, though you do not yet know me, that they may know from the rising of the sun until its going down, there is none besides me. I am Yahweh, and there is none else, forming light and creating darkness, making peace, creating evil. I, Yahweh, do all these things. Drop down from above, O heavens, and let the clouds pour down righteousness. Let the earth open up, and let salvation bear fruit, and let righteousness spring up together. I, Yahweh, have created it. Woe to him who fights with the one who formed him. A potsherd among the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to its former, what are you making? Shall the clay say to its former, what are you making? Or does your work say, he has no hands? Woe to him who says to a father, what are you fathering? Or to a woman, what you laboring over? So says Yahweh, the perfect one of Israel, and the one who formed him. Do you ask me of the things to come? Do you give command to me about my sons and about the works of my hands? That's Isaiah chapter 45. The next verse. Woe to Assyria, the rod of anger, my anger, and my fury is a staff in their hand. I will send against Assyria an ungodly nation, and against the people of my anger. I will command him to plunder and to strip off and spoil, and to trample them like the mud of the streets. Yet he does not purpose that, nor does his heart think so. For it is not in his heart to destroy. It is not in his heart to destroy, and to cut off not a few nations. For he says, are not all my... So the king of Assyria was saying, are not all my commanders like kings? The king of Assyria was thinking, is not Kalno like Carchemish? The king of Assyria was thinking, is not Hamath not like Arpad? Is not Samaria like Damascus? The king of Assyria was thinking in his head, as my hand has found the kingdom of the idols, so shall be Jerusalem. So the king of Assyria thought he could take Jerusalem, and Isaiah says, and it shall be when the Lord... Okay, and I will take away... I'm trying to figure out where... Okay, I will visit the hand. I'm trying to figure out when God starts speaking, he stops speaking. Okay, then God says to the king of Assyria, who thought he could take Jerusalem, shall the sword magnify itself against him, moving it, as if a rod could wave at those who lift it, as if a staff could raise what is not wood. And like a nest, God says, I have also gathered all the earth, as forsaken eggs are gathered, and there was not one moving a wing, or opening a mouth, or one chirping. Shall the axe glorify itself against him chopping it? And he talks about the proud heart of the king of Assyria, and his lofty eyes, because the king of Assyria thought it was the strength of his hand and his wisdom. The king of Assyria thought that he was wise, and he could just take the borders of people. The king of Assyria thought he was a mighty one who could just rob treasures. The king of Assyria thought he could put down living ones. The king of Assyria thought that his hand could take the riches of the people. The king of Assyria thought this, and then we know that the king of Assyria was wrong, that it's God who was controlling the axe, and so on. Proverbs chapter 16 says, Jehovah has made all for his purpose. Yes, even the wicked for the day of evil. And then we also have in grafted in. Okay. If we use these passages of the Bible to say people are blessed, then we must say, okay, alright, we're going to skip this here, and we're going to go to this verse here, where it says, there's another verse quoted by Mark Carpenter from outside the camp, where he says, okay, I'm actually going to, yes, O man, who are you asking against God? Shall the one who forms it say against him? Shall the one who is formed say against the former, why are you doing this? And I'm going to get Brandon's input on these verses. Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a really important list of scripture. I mean, that's kind of the point, the essence of that essay. One passage I was waiting for you to read, for it to come up. I'm not sure if it's on page 3, 4, or 5, or that's, it's a pretty lengthy essay. But one very important passage that Carpenter references in that essay is Psalm 105, verse 25. Psalm 105, verse 25. You see that in the article there, or can you look that up so you can cite it accurately? Because I don't want to paraphrase it.
Okay, I'm going to Google Psalm 1. Okay, yes, Mark Carpenter has quoted Psalm 105, verse 25. He turned their heart to hate his people, to deal craftily with his servants. Psalm 105, verse 25.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a very important passage to mention. It shows that God is even in control of the sins, the wickedness, and the minds of the people who trampled the children of God under their own feet. And God is even in control of those actions of wicked men to glorify Himself and for the ultimate good of His children. And that's the doctrine that Carpenter was putting forth of the active salvation of God. And another great point that he made in there was, you know how a lot of even, not just Arminians but Calvinists will accuse biblical determinists of making God into like somebody who controls a puppet or a robot, And Carpenter's response is one that I endorse when I read it in that article. It's basically that the robot-teer or the puppeteer accusation, the analogy against God, is actually not accurate enough, because a robot-teer or a puppeteer does not have 100% control of the robot or the puppet. So it's actually not deterministic enough.
Amen. I'm going to stop the video there, stop recording. That's a great point from Brandon from California about we are robots and God is in control. I'm going to stop recording there.